Well, good morning, East Alabama and West Georgia. Dr. Don in here with you on a very, very wet and windy Wednesday morning. We are approaching, well, actually it is 4 o'clock Central and 5 a.m. over on the eastern side of the time zone. Been watching a extremely strong low-pressure system move across Alabama and Georgia throughout the evening. And here we are on your Wednesday morning, and we have a couple of areas of strong thunderstorms moving through East Alabama and about to move through the Montgomery area and then back over towards Selma. We have some very heavy storms as well. Now, the big news this morning is exactly what I've been telling you it was going to be, and that's been the wind and the power outages across the state of Alabama, and we're beginning to see power outages across Georgia as well. Let's go ahead and take the map, and let me show you that as of this hour, we have right at 50,000 customers without power in Alabama. Now, the majority of that is down there around the coastal regions, down there around Mobile, Andalusia. Southwest Alabama is where the largest number of outages are being reported at this hour, but we also have a good number of outages in southeast Alabama, and you can see the map there. We have scattered power outages all over the state of Alabama at this hour, and I can kind of maybe give you some, well, I lost it right quick there. Let me see if I can get that to come back. Bear with me 1 second. Let me see if I can get this to come back up on my screen. I can kind of give you a little better idea. Okay. All right, so we're right at 50,000 outages now in the state of Alabama. Bullock County is reporting 8,213 outages. That's where a line of thunderstorms moving through at this hour. Randolph County is reporting just 374. Now, understand, this is not every single power company, but it's pretty close. Cleburne County reporting 145. Talladega County, 859. Coosa County has 249 outages. Let's see. Chambers County reporting 134. Lee County has about 5,000 outages at this hour. And Macon County, 393. The two big counties at the moment, Washington County is reporting 402, and Conecuh County has 435. So Bullock County, down in southeast Alabama, with 2,141 outages, being the largest outage that we see on the map this morning at this time. Looking at Georgia right quick. Gilmer County apparently has had a substation or something they have lost. They're looking at 3,017 outages in Gilmer. Statewide in Georgia, we're only looking at 17,000 customers without power. I say only, that's a lot, but when you look at the entire state, when you have right at 5 million customers, 17,000 isn't that large of a number. Up in extreme northwest Georgia, Dade County is reporting 2,072 customers without power as we speak this morning. Of course, we have power outages up in Tennessee. We have 16,000 customers without power in Tennessee. Mississippi's at 22,000. Louisiana at 17,000, and Texas reporting 50,000 outages. So really, there's more outages in Alabama, or right at it, than there is in the state of Texas. That's saying a lot. Kansas has 42,000 out of power up there as well. Now, Kansas is more of a winter weather type event. Everybody else is dealing with a severe weather setup. All right, so let's go back to the radar this morning. And let me spend some time talking to you about what is going on out there at the moment. I understand there's no power in the Almond-Malone area there in Randolph County. Thank you for that report, Cassandra. I'm getting other reports of power outages here. All right, so Felicia is reporting her power is out as well. I believe Felicia is, I believe she's still in Roanoke. Power is out in Graham. Power is out in Harris County. Destiny, don't be terrified. There's nothing to be terrified about here. Any tornadic activity should stay south of you. All right, let's talk radar, and let me hang on one second. Let me get set up here. We're kind of working on the fly here this morning because I'm dealing with stuff up here in northeast Georgia from the emergency management side. I'm covering severe weather for you guys down there in East Alabama and West Georgia all at the same time. We have 911 operators who are out sick this morning. We've got that bug going on up here, so I'm shuffling all kind of hats this morning. So we're doing all this live and in living color as it's happening. And for some reason, that particular radar shot doesn't want to load. So let's go back to level 2. And I want to look at the base velocity if we can get a good look at it. That's really not a good look. Let me switch to Atlanta, see if we can get a better look there. I'm trying to see what the winds look like out there. Looking at the reporting stations across Alabama and Georgia, we're still in the 20 to 30 mile per hour wind gust for most locations, with heavier wind down in the Barber County area. That's a horrible look. Let's try Montgomery. Special weather statement down here in Autauga, northern Lowndes, western, northwestern Montgomery. That is the strongest weather in central Alabama at the moment. Yeah, we'll go with this. Let's probe that. Now, understand, folks, these are not the winds at the ground. This is the wind maybe up at around 2,000 to 3,000 feet, but when you get some of these heavy showers that overrun that wind, it will push that wind to the ground. So it's quite possible that we have got some up here in Cleburne County. We're seeing some 50 mile per hour winds. Randolph County, you're pretty much in the 40 to 45. Again, this is up in the upper levels of the atmosphere. Back over in Coosa, you're in the 20 to 30. Tallapoosa, you're in the 20 to 30. Chambers, pretty much 20 to 30. Now, right down here in Lee County, western Lee, that's pretty good right there around the Auburn-Opelika area. You're looking at about 60 mile per hour sustained winds up in the upper levels of the atmosphere. That's probably equating to about 30 mile per hour sustained at the ground level. Let's see what things look like there at Toomer's Corner. Certainly just torrents of rain there. The wind does not look that bad right there at Toomer's Corner in Auburn. That's the Sanford Park shot there. You can't even make out what that is. And that shot is having issues. So let's go back to Toomer's. And you can just see sheets of rain there at Toomer's Corner, rain blowing into the camera. So the camera's got a lot of moisture on the front of it, so it's kind of hard to see. But if you look back there in the back, you can see the tops of the trees and the oaks there at Toomer's Corner. And I can see them moving, but they're not moving unusually fast. So it doesn't look like, and you can look at the traffic lights too. They're swaying just a little bit, but they're not like doing loop-de-loop. So not too bad right there. All right, so let's go back to the radar. And the strongest wind again right now is going to be, let me turn the telestrator on. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Well, the strongest wind is going to be along this line stretching from Beans Mill down to about Beauregard. That's where the strongest wind is, right over the Opelika area. We got some pretty good wind showing up right there as well. Zooming back out, let me go back to the reflectivity. And that's going to be right there along that line. You see that stretches from about Roanoke down to Lafayette, down to a point between Auburn and Opelika, and then it kind of trails off down there around Tuskegee. And then we go back over to the west. We have another area that's coming through the Montgomery area, stretching from Hopeville up there in Elmore County to just east of Prattville and now just west of Montgomery. And then it kind of breaks up a bit and then picks up again down in Dallas County, just south of Whitehall, and then stretches on down into western Dallas County. And then a third area, and that's going to be right now, unless something redevelops behind the line, this should be the last line of thunderstorm activity. And this stretches from east of Birmingham down to around Clanton, and then down to Selma. And a moment ago, I was telling you about this storm in Montgomery. The trailing part of that's actually in Lowndes County. It's already moved out of Dallas. We have that third line moving through Dallas, and it stretches on down to Camden, Monroeville, and then down here along the Alabama-Mississippi line, we have multiple tornado warnings down here around Mobile. And I told you last night, this is what I feared. This is the area that I believe stands the best chance for severe weather. And we're going to show you, I'm going to take the MRMS radar here, so this kind of gives us a composite look of the entire storm. But let's go in down here around Mobile. Look at that, just south of Grand Bay, Bayou La Batterie area. And that is that storm is moving out over the Mobile Bay, and so it's going to end up over here around Robertsdale, Summerdale, Foley. I believe it stays just north of Gulf Shores, but if you're over here at Fairhope, Daphne, Loxley, Robertsdale, Summerdale, Foley, this storm is over on the other side of the bay from you. It's on the west side of the Mobile Bay, near Bayou La Batterie, moving off to the east-northeast. Heads up, tornado warning there. We have a confirmed tornado here. This is a tornado warning in effect until 4:30 this morning. This is going to be, let me get the verbiage on this one. A tornado warning remains in effect until 4:30 a.m. for central Mobile and west central Baldwin counties. At 4:02 a.m., a confirmed tornado was located near Midtown Mobile. So, goodness, this thing's right in downtown Mobile. This is a confirmed tornado on the ground in Midtown Mobile. In downtown Mobile at this moment. Spanish Fort, be there around 4:20. This is a tornado that is on the ground. Take cover now. Move to a basement or an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Avoid windows. And if you're outdoors or in a mobile home or a vehicle, move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris. So, again, we have there we go. We have a confirmed tornado on the ground in downtown Mobile. That's newsworthy. If you know anybody that lives down there in Mobile, make sure they're aware of what's going on. You're over here at Spanish Fort. The good thing is, once it gets out of downtown Mobile, it's going to be in a very sparsely populated area, at least until it crosses over 225. And then we'll get back into some populated areas. But it's in an area that's about as populated as you can get right this moment in downtown Mobile. And then we have a second tornado warning. Now, the second one down here is not confirmed. Let me get the verbiage on that one. Tornado warning for south central Mobile County in southwestern Alabama until 4:45 a.m. 4:07, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located over Coden or over Beulah Battery, moving to the east at 45 miles per hour. And again, this one is going to move across Mobile Bay and affect you folks down here in Fairhope, Robertsdale, Summerdale, Foley. I believe it stays north of Orange Beach and Gulf Shores and Perdido Key. So heads up there, and it's just like we were telling you the last time we were together last night. This area right there around Mobile, all the way over to Pensacola, is really the bullseye. This is where we will expect to see the most tornado activity. And I can already feel the questions coming from East Alabama and West Georgia. No, this tornado activity down here in Mobile is not moving toward East Alabama and West Georgia. It's moving almost due east. Places like Pensacola, Defuniak Springs, Fort Walton, Destin, perhaps Andalusia, perhaps Enterprise, Dothan will have to deal with this portion of this line of thunderstorms. Now, this line of thunderstorms does stretch all the way up into the Birmingham area. But the north end of this thing is nowhere near as potent as what we're seeing down here on the south end. So no concerns up here in East Alabama or West Georgia from all of the tornado warnings that you're seeing down here in Mobile. And now the National Weather Service has issued a blanket severe thunderstorm warning for that entire line, covering multiple counties down here in southwest Alabama, from basically just south of Monroeville all the way to the Gulf of Mexico. And that severe thunderstorm warning will probably continue to get pushed to the right as this line of storms moves off to the east. Big storm about to come on shore, too, pretty close to Panama City, if you have interest down there. Miramar Beach, it's coming on shore there. So it will cross over 98 between Miramar Beach and Laguna Beach, headed for the Freeport area. So that's going to be west of Panama City, right there along 30A. Come pretty close to Seaside, Seagrove, Grayton Beach area. So we'll zoom back out and again give you a look at the big picture. Goodness, we got a little snow and ice going on up here in North Carolina. We actually had reports of some snow mixed in and some sleet at the very onset of all of this last night up in northeast Georgia. Places like Clarksville, Blairsville was reporting flurries and snow there for just a few minutes. And then as the rain continued to move in from the southwest, it increased in intensity and it brought some warmer temperatures with it. So that frozen precipitation did not last very long. All right, let me go over here to the chat room and see. Let me give you an update on the power outages, too. It looks like Alabama has topped 50,000 now. We're at 52,699 customers without power in Alabama. Again, the majority of that is down in Bullock County, where we have 2,140. Surely we're going to see the numbers go up around the Mobile area, though, with that tornado on the ground in downtown Mobile. Seeing some reports of some hail in Clanton. That's in Chilton County, near Lomax, there in Chilton County. It was pebble-sized hail, and that is going to be, you can see the storm right there. Right there. Just to the west of the Enterprise community. This is in Chilton County, Alabama. Just an interesting side note, that's where the strength side of my family came from, right there in Chilton County, Alabama, the community of Enterprise. But there you go, between Maplesville and Clanton, Enterprise there in Chilton County, maybe some pebble-sized hail taking place on the south end of this line of thunderstorms moving through Chilton County. Let me go back to the chat room, see if there's anything in there. Enterprise, you're probably Renee. You're probably referring to the Enterprise down in Coffee County. I was just talking about the Enterprise community in Chilton County. Right now, everything is good down in Enterprise, Coffee County, but they are down there in that area where things could get a little ugly here in the next hour or so. Yeah, what a way to wake up this morning. Storming outside like crazy. Be safe. Thank you, Cassandra. I appreciate those words. And yeah, that's pretty much what everybody's waking up to this morning. And we told you that was going to happen. Now, it's going to have periods of thunder and lightning for the next several hours across East Alabama. But I don't see anything that's, downstream that's headed your way that's going to be significant that you need to be concerned about. What's the storm looking like that's headed to LaGrange? Well, pick one. I'm not sure which one you're talking about. Oh, I'm assuming maybe this line that just moved through southern Randolph and Chambers, because that'll be the next one that moves into the LaGrange area. I don't have any reports of anything severe. As a matter of fact, I was reading some information on the Weather Service website just a moment ago that the winds out ahead of this line, even though there is some gusty wind involved in this line that's coming into LaGrange, the sustained winds out ahead of the line were actually stronger than what we're seeing in this line of storm. So, 15, 20, 25 mile per hour wind gust when this line comes through, maybe 30. But understand, folks, it's been raining long enough now, so the ground is completely saturated. So it doesn't take much wind to bring down a tree, and that's what's causing all the power outages. So even a 15, 20 mile per hour wind gust on a tree that is not very strong, that's been weakened because of all the rain, can cause it to fall. So it doesn't take a whole lot of wind. So keep that in mind as we go throughout the remainder of this event. Even though we may not be getting the 40 and 50 mile per hour winds that were possible and still are until this is over with, we still could have trees come down even with 15 to 25 mile per hour gust with all of the rain that has taken place. We're getting reports of several trees down in Lee County. Lee County Road 268, Lee County Road 197, Lee Road 208, and Lee Road 175. And that's going to be from that strong wind that moved through Auburn and Opelika that continues moving on off to the east, right there. That leading edge of that heavy wind now is just east of Beans Mill, and stretching down to just east of Beauregard. So the south end of this line may be a little more significant than the north end, but anywhere along this line, you could see momentary wind gusts of 25 to 35 miles per hour. And again, as I just told you, we're getting reports of trees down along that line. So again, it doesn't take a whole lot of wind when the ground is as wet as it is right now. Phoenix City, yeah, you're okay. You've got that little line that's about to move through. And understand we've got a couple of lines out there. But none of it is producing anything of great significance for East Alabama and West Georgia. That's all down in the Mobile area. Same for Valley. Valley, you're going to have gusty winds. You've had a lot of rain overnight, and it's still raining pretty hard. There's a good chance you're going to have some trees come down, and that is going to take down the power. Thunder rattling the house in Wadley, Alabama, over on the west bank. Tammy, I have not received any confirmation of flooding anywhere. Don't know that we've had enough rain yet to cause any flooding, but you understand we've still got several hours to go across East Alabama and West Georgia. It may be noon before all of this is completely out of here. So there's great opportunity here to receive another inch or 2 inches of rain, which could cause some flooding. Yes, we do have wind gusts and we do have trees down. And yes, I have seen multiple reports of damage all across the state of Alabama, primarily from downed trees. Understand, this is not, a 35 to 45 or even 50 mile per hour wind gust isn't going to cause damage to your home. Most homes, can handle wind up to probably 75, and that is sustained wind. When we're talking about gust, it likely would take an 80, 90, maybe even 100 mile per hour wind gust to take your roof off your house. But what a 35 to 45 mile per hour wind gust will do, especially in situations like we have this morning where the ground is saturated, didn't mean to do that. Let's see if we can zoom that camera back out. I have one of them new fancy cameras, and it reads your hand signals. And so by pointing my finger there, the camera thought I wanted it to zoom in. But understand, with the type of setup we have this morning, that 25 to 35 mile per hour wind gust, with the ground as saturated as it is going to bring down trees, and the trees is what will do damage to your home. When those trees fall on your home, that's how your home gets damaged. That's how the power grid goes down. So this is a saturated ground with wind gusts of 25 to 35 mile per hour that's causing problems this morning, not severe thunderstorms or tornadoes in East Alabama or West Georgia. That is down in the Mobile area. We have a tornado that's just moved through downtown Mobile, a confirmed tornado on the ground. I'm watching to see if we get any kind of reports of damage down there. I typically don't follow Mobile. Let's see if we can get them over here. I have a chat room here that allows me to see what the meteorologists are talking about across the entire state. Yeah, so I'm going to have to check that offline. I can't get to it right this moment. Going to be traveling this morning anywhere across East Alabama and West Georgia. Be very careful. Give yourself extra time. Leave earlier than you normally would. Give yourself a little extra time so you don't have to drive fast. There's no reason why you can't There are no blocked roads that we're aware of, even though there could be some trees across roadways we don't know about. So that's why you need to give yourself a little extra time and drive with extra caution this morning. A lot of water out there on the roadway. Tammy, I have not received any information of any road problems in Randolph County as of yet. But again, people understand East Alabama and West Georgia is just now getting in the height of this thing. We still have several more hours to go. Probably going to be somewhere late morning, noon, before all of this is said and done. Thank you, Kimberly. I appreciate those kind words. This is crazy weather. This is what happens in an El Nino year. I mean, we're having spring weather happening in the middle of January. And this pattern is going to continue. I mean, there's no end in sight. We have this one to get through. We have another storm system on Friday, and then we're going to have another one on Monday. There's indication that by the middle of next week, we'll see some of the coldest air we've seen in quite some time across Alabama and Georgia. And there's also a hint of that S word next week. But we're not even going to go there this morning because we've got to get this storm system and Friday's storm system in the books before we can really see good resolution in the long-range models for that third system, which is where we may see that S word. Power reported out now in Beulah, and that probably is from that line that just moved through. Daniel, as far as I know, Roanoke is A-OK this morning. Haven't seen reports of any problems in Roanoke. Thank you, Nancy. Vivian's asking about, I believe that's Casita she's asking about. I have no reports of any problems in Casita. You folks may be able to hear the thunder rolling up here in northeast Georgia. It's had a pretty good lightning strike outside here. Thank you, Tammy. Heavy rain in LaGrange at West Point Lake. That's that line coming across. It's about to move into downtown LaGrange. So heads up, anywhere along that line from LaGrange all the way down to Lynette and Valley, you got some pretty heavy rainfall moving in. Now understand, folks, when this very heavy rain moves into your area, that's when the wind is most likely to make it all the way to the ground. We know the wind's running 40, 50, maybe even 60 miles per hour up in the upper levels of the atmosphere. And what happens when you get very heavy rainfall, it will push that wind down to the surface. So when one of these heavier showers or bands of rain move through your area, that's when we would expect the strongest winds to take place as well. And we're seeing reports of power outages and all along that line that's moving through East Alabama into West Georgia. Hadn't heard anything about the schools this morning. Last I heard, everything was on go for normal. Some schools up here in North Georgia decided to pull the plug on it today. But I haven't seen any information locally there in East Alabama or West Georgia. Yeah, Kimberly, that's where the USS Alabama Park, there on the causeway in Mobile, that's the area where that tornado was moving through this morning. Thank you, Sue Ellen. I appreciate those kind words. Calm down in Roanoke for the moment. Chambers County schools have delayed for 2 hours. So that's what I'm being told. That's not confirmed, but that's what one of our followers are reporting this morning. Chambers County schools delayed for 2 hours. Troup County schools are closed today. Again, that's coming from a viewer. So if you have kids in either of those schools, I say this regardless, and just make sure you confirm that. Chambers Academy is delayed. Heard County schools are delayed today. LaGrange is getting a big whiff of something now. That's that line of thunderstorms. That's line number one. You've got actually two more behind it. Russell County is closed. Virtual learning today. Virtual learning is still a thing. Yeah, that's probably not going to ever go away now. We learned we could do that during COVID. Okay, so Remy says that she actually has family that is at the elementary school in Chambers County, and they are on a 2-hour delay. All right, let's reset what's going on here. It is coming up, actually it's 4:36, I'm sorry. 4:36 on the eastern side of the time zone. That's 5:36. I'm sorry. We'll get this right in a minute. 4:36 on the central side of the time zone. 5:36 over on the eastern side. And for those of you who know me, you understand I'm an emergency manager in Northeast Georgia. I am the chief of the Emergency Management 911 Animal Control Divisions in White County, Georgia, which is up in the North Georgia mountains. If you know where Dahlonega is, we're just to the east of Dahlonega up in Cleveland, Georgia. So I have a huge responsibility up here locally. At the moment, there is no pending severe weather threat for East Alabama and West Georgia. I don't think there's going to be a severe weather threat for East Alabama and West Georgia. What is going to happen, you're going to continue with the 25 to 35 mile per hour wind gust. With all of this rain, some trees are going to fall, and there's going to be some scattered power outages. But I don't think there's a threat for tornadoes across East Alabama and West Georgia. That's going to be confined to South Alabama, primarily the Mobile-Baldwin County areas over to about Pensacola. Then I think the storms calm down a bit for several hours, and then they fire back up this afternoon. Places maybe like Tallahassee, Gainesville, Florida, Jacksonville, Florida, and then over on the eastern side of Georgia and up into the Carolinas, they're going to have another whole round of severe weather to deal with this afternoon. So we're not going to continue with long-form wall-to-wall coverage this morning. I have several appointments this morning myself at work, and we're kind of having to watch things up here as far as flooding. We're up here on the south side of the Appalachian Mountains, so weather behaves really weird up here. And so the mountains kind of enhance things because of upslope winds. We end up sometimes getting more rain than other locations, and it does really weird stuff with wind too. And all this wind is coming out of the west-southwest. Luckily, I live on the north side of the mountain, just below the crest of the mountain, so I'm pretty protected from wind, but the rest of the county is not. So I've got some duties. I've got to really pay attention to what's happening in 911. We start to get overrun with phone calls. I have to call in more coverage for our 911 center. Of course, we have several out sick today. We've been battling that now for the last couple of weeks, as everybody has. So I have very important duties I have to go take care of. Of course, you guys are way up there on top of my priority list. You know that, and have been for the last 5 years since we started doing this. If I see anything that I think is life-threatening, that would affect a lot of people, that's going to be widespread, then I will come back and we'll continue with our coverage this morning. But at the moment, I think we are going to continue to see power outages. I think we will continue to see trees come down across the area as this storm system continues. And, we're quite possibly looking at noontime before all this is completely out of here. We do have a new flood advisory that has just come in for East Alabama. And let me take a look at that. This is going to be a flood advisory in effect until 7:45 this morning. Urban and small stream flooding will happen this morning. It's going to be caused by runoff. This is going to be for a portion of central Alabama, including the following counties: Chambers, Lee, Macon, Randolph, and Tallapoosa. Until 7:45 a.m. this morning, minor flooding in low-lying and poor drainage areas. At 4:39, Doppler radar indicating heavy rain due to thunderstorms will cause urban and small creek stream flooding. Between 1 and 2 inches of rain has fallen. Additional rainfall amounts of 1 to 2 inches are expected over the area. The additional rain will result in minor flooding. So once again, that is a flood advisory just issued, and it's basically from about Wedowee to Wadley to Woodland southeast in Randolph County. And then it covers the central and southern sections of Tallapoosa, all of Chambers, pretty much all of Lee, and then it extends on down into Macon County. That's a flood advisory. So before we break up our little party this morning, let me zoom out. And let's run down here to Mobile and see if we can get an update. We have another tornado warning down here in Florida. Hang on. Let's check this out. That's that storm that just came on shore just west of Fort Walton Beach, pretty close to Seagrove and Seaside. We now have a confirmed tornado on the ground. And this is going to be a tornado warning for southeastern Walton County. This is in Florida. Southwestern Holmes County and west central Washington County in the panhandle of Florida. At 4:37, a confirmed large and dangerous tornado was located 8 miles northeast of Santa Rosa Beach, moving northeast at 50 miles per hour. This is a particularly dangerous situation. Take cover now. Should be pretty close to Eglin Air Force Base right now. Again, this is being categorized as a large and extremely dangerous and potential deadly tornado on the ground. Pretty close to Freeport. You know where 331 crosses the Choctawhatchee Bay down here, just north of Seagrove Beach, Florida, Grayton Beach, Seaside. You know, down there on 30A. You know where I'm talking about. Well, it's already moved through the 30A area. Now it's crossing over the bay, pretty close to Freeport, Florida. And that's going to continue moving off to the northeast. You folks up here on I-10 from Defuniak Springs to Caryville, Ponce de Leon, up here on I-10, heads up, you have got a monster on the ground confirmed, causing extensive damage. The good news is we don't have a whole lot of population right in the area. Once it gets north of Freeport, there's not a whole lot there. But this needs to be taken extremely seriously. Yeah, if you're traveling I-10, if you know anybody, maybe you've got an uncle that's a truck driver that routinely travels I-10, call him. Make sure he's not in this area. If he is, tell him don't go any further. Don't go any further east than Defuniak Springs, and if they're going westbound, tell them to stop in Bonifay. Let this storm pass. Then back over here in Mobile, we have two different confirmed tornadoes down here also. Well, we have two different tornadoes. Let me see the verbiage on this one. This is... No, these are not confirmed. This is going to be a tornado warning for central Baldwin, for south central Escambia and northwestern Escambia. It's a thunderstorm producing a possible tornado, and that is going to continue for until 5:15. So about another 30 minutes on that one, and then this one is going to be for central Baldwin County in southwest Alabama, also until 5:15. The tornado was located near Fairhope at about 4:36, so about 10 minutes ago, or a little less than 10 minutes ago. Right at 10 minutes ago, that tornado, this second one down here where you see my cursor on the screen, that one was near Foley about 10 minutes ago. Now, that one was confirmed on the ground when it came through Mobile. Both of these were confirmed at one time. So, good chance that we still have damage occurring from both of those tornadoes. So that's the deal, folks. All this severe weather is going to hang out down here in South Alabama. If I zoom out and take the reflectivity off, you can see the warnings. The watches and warnings. That yellow box you see, that is the tornado watch. And then the orange boxes are severe thunderstorm warnings. And then the flashing red and white, those are two tornado warnings. And then the flashing purple you see over here near Freeport, Florida, that is a confirmed tornado on the ground. That is moving to the northeast. So you folks up here in southeast Alabama are going to have to watch this thing now. We're talking about places like Geneva, over toward Dothan, maybe Mariana, Florida. You need to be paying attention to what's happening to your southwest because that's where your weather comes from. And to put all this into perspective, here's Roanoke, Alabama, way up here. And the closest severe weather to Roanoke, Alabama at this hour is 193 miles away. And then those storms down there around Mobile, even further, 207, 229 miles away. So you can get a sense for how far away this severe weather is, and it's not moving in your direction. Yes, the storms are moving northeast, but the entire complex is moving east at the same time. So there's no way these storms make it up into East Alabama or West Georgia. It's just not possible. And I don't expect severe storms to form up here in northeast Georgia. I'm sorry, up here in East Alabama and West Georgia. The better energy, the better profile, the better wind shear is all down here in southern Alabama and northwest Florida. And we've been telling you for a couple of days, we felt like this is where the severe weather was going to be. And sure enough, that's exactly what we're seeing. Folks, don't forget to support us if you get a chance. All this weather technology that we use, the equipment, the different services we use, ours, all of this stuff is extremely expensive. And we appreciate all the folks who are partners with us here on Dr. Don's Weather. We've been doing this for right at 5 years now, and we want to be doing this 5 years from now. But we depend on your individual assistance as well. So please support us when you get a chance. And, you know, there's no amount too small. We just need the support. So to support us, all you have to do is go to our website at drdonwx.com. On our homepage, there's a donate button there. Or you can just simply send me a message on Messenger, and I can send you a couple of different options on how you can support us. Obviously, if you own a business, if you're part of a civic organization, a county or municipal government would like to be a partner with us here on Dr. Don's Weather, we do have several openings right now, and we would love to have you. So, again, just send me a message on Messenger, and I can tell you how to go about doing that. Also, if you routinely watch us on Facebook, please like us and share us with your friends and ask them to share with their friends. If you don't like us or interact with us in some shape, form, or fashion on Facebook over a period of a week or two, then we're going to fall off of your feed. You're not going to see us. It's just the way Facebook works. So it's very important for you to continue to like us. Even if you liked us last week, like us again today. Like everything you see posted from Dr. Don's Weather. Just hit that like button. It only takes a second to do that. And then share us and ask your friends to share with their friends. That keeps us in front of you on Facebook. You can also send us Facebook stars. That's another great way to support us. And if you're on Facebook, even if you don't have a YouTube account, I highly, highly suggest that you go to Dr. Don's Weather on YouTube, subscribe to our channel. It is free, doesn't cost you a dime. And then under notifications, click that little bell because YouTube works different from Facebook. YouTube sends out what's called a push notification when we go live. So if you sign up and subscribe to Dr. Don's Weather on YouTube and click that little bell and you have your notifications turned on your phone, you're guaranteed to get notified when we go live. If you depend on Facebook to let you know that we're live, then you better like us every single day because that's the only way we're going to stay on your news feed over on Facebook. So just a little housekeeping information for you this morning on how long time since we've gone live for severe weather coverage. And so we just kind of got to get everybody back in the routine of liking us and following us on Facebook and on YouTube and also over on Twitter. We send that information on Twitter as well. Columbus area is looking good. Roanoke's looking good. Chambers County's looking good. LaGrange is looking good. Now, what does that mean? Well, it means it's going to continue to rain for several more hours, maybe even noontime before all this is completely out of here. You're going to have waves of heavy rain. When those waves of heavy rain move in, that's when the wind threat will increase because it's pushing that wind in the upper levels of the atmosphere down to the surface. So you're going to have waves of heavy torrential rainfall with winds gusting 25, 30, maybe even 40 miles per hour. And guess what happens when the ground is saturated and we have that kind of weather? Trees are going to fall. And when trees fall, they bring down power lines, and you lose power. So be prepared for power outages this morning, at least for another 3 or 4 hours across East Alabama and West Georgia. Have reports of scattered power outages all over the place this morning. Let me see here. Let me get an update before we get out of here. Power outages in Alabama, look at that. 61,000 customers without power in Alabama at this hour. And I can show that to you right here. Look at that, 61,796. And this shows the counties where the highest number of outages are being reported from. And that's going to be down there in southwest Alabama where we're having all that tornadic activity. At the moment, Randolph County, you're showing 528 power outages in Randolph. Talladega showing 2,000. Coosa showing 247. Tallapoosa showing 589. Chambers County is showing 138. Lee County is showing 3,860 power outages. Russell County showing 202. Macon County, 393. I'm a little dyslexic this morning. I've only had a half a cup of coffee, so I'm fixing to fix that problem. Bullock County is at 2,140. That's the largest number we see in East Alabama, or southeast Alabama. Cleburne County, 145. Calhoun County, 596. Now, looking at Georgia, Carroll County, 198. Heard County, 159. Troup County is showing just 49 customers without power. Harris County, though, is showing 2,237. So power outages seem to be more widespread down in Harris County than they are anywhere in West Georgia. Muskogee's got 2,371 outages. Chattahoochee County, which is Columbus, has got 8. There's only 8 power outages in the greater Columbus area. That's probably more than that on a normal day. Stewart County has got 127, and Quitman County has 196. So let's give you the state totals. Statewide in Georgia this morning, out of right at 5 million customers, we've got 17,843 without power. In Alabama, we've got 49,972 power outages at this hour. Tennessee's reporting 16,000. Mississippi's reporting 22,000. Louisiana has 17,000. And Texas is reporting 43,000. So there are more power outages in Alabama than there is in the entire state of Texas. That kind of puts that statement into perspective for you. You could put Alabama and Texas about 4 times. So a lot of power outages in Alabama this morning from all of this weather. So here's what's going to happen, folks. Going to wrap things up. I'll continue to post on Facebook and keep you updated. If I see anything that I really think is going to be a widespread threat to life, I'll be right back with you. I am going to continue to watch this throughout the morning. Some of this stuff is beginning to move into northeast Georgia, which is my coverage area up here. So I've got to go tend to some duties there. That's what puts the groceries on the table, so to speak. So I have to prioritize, and that's what I'm going to do this morning. But I do have one eye on East Alabama and West Georgia, and if I see anything down there that I think could be a potential threat to your life, I'll let you know. Best idea, don't get out if you don't have to. Stay indoors. This weather's going to continue for another couple of 2 or 3 hours, maybe 4 hours across East Alabama and West Georgia before all of this is out of here. There will be an occasional heavy downpour of rain. With that rain is going to come wind. It's not going to be windy the entire time, just when those heavy downpours move in. And I think the severe threat, we're talking tornadic activity, will stay confined to extreme southern Alabama and northwest Florida. I think that will calm down in the next couple of hours, and then it's going to rejuvenate this afternoon over on the eastern side of Florida and across East Georgia, and maybe more severe weather this afternoon up into South Carolina and North Carolina. You folks down there in Dothan, Enterprise, heads up, you've got a nasty thunderstorm complex producing a tornado there just northeast of Freeport, Florida, that's moving northeast. It's going to cross over I-10 here in the next 15, 20 minutes and could potentially become a problem up there in extreme southeast Alabama. So keep an eye on that. You folks down there to the east of Mobile, back over toward Pensacola, pay attention to the weather. You've got another line back near Mobile or just east of Mobile that could cause you some problems as well. So I'm out of here. Good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. I'll see you back in here tomorrow morning. We'll have a complete primetime forecast for you tomorrow morning. I'll tell you that this rain is out of here today. We have another storm system in here Friday. Probably not going to be quite as vigorous as this one. We got to get this one out of here today to get a complete look at what that one's going to bring us. And then a third system in here probably Monday or Tuesday of next week. And perhaps some brutally cold weather next week. And with this active storm pattern, getting storms in here every 2 or 3 days, maybe something a little interesting toward the sometime next week. And that's all I'm going to say about that right now. We'll have more for you tomorrow morning here on Dr. Don's Weather. Be safe out there, folks. Good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. I'll see you back in here tomorrow on Dr. Don's Weather.